Beijing's dogged pursuit of zero COVID has locked people in shopping malls, office buildings, factory floors, and even in Disneyland. China's virus containment measures, some of the harshest in the world, have fueled anxiety, depression, and psychological trauma. For global businesses operating in China, the government's virus containment strategy has translated into major production and sales disruptions. Violent workers' revolt at the world's largest iPhone factory has highlighted how the country's stringent zero-COVID policy is hurting global technology firms. Is the mass lockdown at the world's biggest iPhone factory India's big chance to beat China as Apple's favorite supplier?
Problems you're seeing with the Foxconn factory for Apple in China, and the only other place in the world where Apple has a sizable capacity is right here in India. So I think there is an opportunity certainly over here for us to insert ourselves into the global supply chains, and we are already doing this.
The world's biggest Apple iPhone factory in the central city of Zhengzhou, China, is virtually under siege amid rising COVID-19 cases in the country. With such severe policies, car makers are opting to shutter their plants in China. Apple is witnessing a mass exodus of employees, and here in India, there is no sense of alarm, which is the world's second largest smartphone market. Beijing's hardline approach to eradicate the pandemic has led to industrial lockouts and large-scale supply chain disruptions. Apple may fall short of its production target for its flagship iPhone 14 Pro models by nearly 6 million units worldwide. Apple lost $4 billion in anticipated iPad and Mac sales alone. Volkswagen is running 14% below expectations. Honda has suspended operations at Wuhan plant. Starbucks China sales have plunged to 40% during spring lockdown. And Tesla has delivered 18% fewer cars in the same period.
你谈到的有关情况与事实不符，中方一贯根据动态清零的总方针，根据现实的情况，一直在进行有关的调整。
China is the second largest economy of the world, and it is confronting surging fresh COVID cases in several parts of the country, which signal more distress for the world economy. Analysts say Chinese authorities are stuck in an uncomfortable spot, not wanting to back down from their position, while also needing to ensure that the unrest doesn't spread. The Wall Street Journal reported earlier in 2022 that Apple was looking to boost production in countries such as Vietnam and India, citing China's strict COVID policy as one of the reasons.
Chinese Communist Party a few weeks ago, there was a kind of a sense of disquiet among the many multinational companies which have invested heavily in China, right? Because there is a sense that the country is a little bit turning away from sort of the free market principles that were the distinguishing characteristic of Chinese economic development in the last three decades, and that the government is more interventionist, more centralizing power and so on, right? And so somebody asked some American CEO, I don't remember the company, it's one of big global enterprises, where are you going to build your next plant? As you expand your company, where are you going to do it? And he said, ABC. What does that mean? Anywhere but China. Okay? Again, because of the concerns that I just expressed. So what does that mean for a country like India or for a country like Vietnam, right? What are the potential advantages of India in that emerging new global environment, right? With China getting a little bit more inward and getting a little bit more centralized and a little bit more emerging as a kind of a surveillance state and so on, right? Well, I can think very quickly. India has lower labor costs, right? China, not anymore, right? Vietnam has low labor costs, so that's another potential competitor, but of course at a smaller scale. English is widely spoken in this country, which I think is a plus in this globalized economy. India is a very large market, and when we do studies, what are the factors that determine the growth of foreign direct investment? There are many of them. Of all those many factors, which is the most important? The size of the domestic market.
Foxconn is also manufacturing Apple iPhones at its Sri Perumbudur factory on the outskirts of Chennai since 2017. Industry analysts estimate Apple may turn India into a global iPhone manufacturing hub by 2025, as the company is slowly cutting its reliance on China due to several reasons, including stringent COVID-related policies. Foxconn is expected to expand its manufacturing capacity in India to produce 25% of all iPhones by the year 2025. China may be strong in manufacturing and infrastructure, and India in services and information technology, but the latter's manufacturing industry is becoming globally competitive. India began its economic reform in the early 1990s, more than a decade after China.
China was also during these decades kind of as much of failure as India was economically. Yet it seems that somehow China was able to pull its weight a little more than we were able to.
That's an understatement, but yes. No, seriously, I mean, they are today 5 times your economy. There were 3 big things which went wrong for us. One was, of course, at the start, the partition. The second was the delay in exercising the nuclear option. And the third was the delay in the economic reforms. So, China not only did not get partitioned, actually China grew in this period, territorially. China exercised its nuclear option early, 1964.
When Xi Jinping was risking it all to ensure China remained shut, India focused on strengthening the health infrastructure and ensuring that economic activities remained largely unhindered. Beyond May 2020, the agility in policy making kicked in, and therefore, even in the Delta wave, there were no complete lockdowns nationally. One of the analysts at TF International Securities, Ming-Chi Kuo, said that the production of iPhones by Foxconn in India will grow by at least 150% in 2023 compared to 2022. India, which is Asia's 3rd largest economy, has been working hard to position itself as an attractive manufacturing and export hub for multinationals. Companies like Apple, Abbott, Boeing, Tata, Flex, Pratt and Whitney are just the start of this wave of multinationals shifting to India, as Modi-led India continues in its mission to take advantage of China's zero-COVID pain.